I have met men who shared with me that they are in a relationship with a woman, and the scenario is it's a heterosexual man with a heterosexual woman, and they could be dating or they could be married to this woman, and they open up to me about what they notice that is different between heterosexual women and lesbian women. And they are very specific about what they like in women and what they don't like in women. And I've been told that men are comfortable with speaking to lesbian women because they are able to be more relaxed and or kind of let their guard down, be more themselves because they're not in a position where they have to watch every every word that they say because they don't want to make their girlfriend or their wife upset. And it just allows them the opportunity to speak to women and understand women better in a more relaxed manner. And they are interested in having relationships with women. And in most cases, I've been informed by the men that I've interacted with, they actually wouldn't mind if they could be with a lesbian or a bisexual woman. And I'm going to share with you why. The title of this video is Why Men Enjoy Being Around Lesbians. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. I can only discuss what heterosexual men have shared with me because I identify as a lesbian woman. I am not a man, so I cannot tell you a man's experience or his thought processes regarding women, whether they're heterosexual or lesbian. I can only go based off of my interactions with heterosexual men. But this video is more so about the perspective of a heterosexual male and what he has experienced and what he enjoys about being around lesbian women. And I will say that men end up finding out that I'm a lesbian because we end up having conversations and we have, you know, good dialogue together and, develop a friendship. And of course, the discussion usually will lead to your 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 status, your relationship status, if you're single or if you're dating or if you're married. And the sexual orientation aspect of the conversation usually will be involved. And when they learn that I'm a lesbian woman, it really does change the dynamic of our our interaction. And I'll explain to you what I mean. To be honest, heterosexual men don't waste their time talking to or hanging around women unless they are physically and sexually attracted to them. Most heterosexual men don't care to waste their time trying to get to know a woman unless he is attracted to her. So that's just the truth. And there's nothing wrong with that. People are physically attracted to other human beings. That's just the way life goes. When a man usually ends up speaking to me and he finds out that I'm a lesbian, the relationship dynamic changes. For one, because I've already made it known that I identify as a lesbian. And number two, I know how to put boundaries in place when I interact with heterosexual men. And number three, men become very intrigued by lesbian women. It's almost like they cannot help themselves. They want to know more about you. And that's understandable because we live in a heteronormative society. Most men are interacting with other heterosexual women. And even though people may say, oh, it's common for women to be lesbian or bisexual, it's not necessarily common for heterosexual men to have the opportunity to have friendships with lesbian women. And the reason for that could vary, but in many cases, heterosexual men generally are already in a relationship with a heterosexual woman. He could be dating her or he could be married to her. Now, there are single men, and they are always, of course, interested in women. Heterosexual men are always interested in women. And how men think in regards to women, they do notice that there's a difference between heterosexual women and lesbian women. And when I ask, what do you find different between heterosexual women and lesbian women, men will usually say they do not like when their girlfriend, for example, becomes jealous of other women, and that their girlfriends usually don't have friendships with other women, or their girlfriends are usually very negative about other women. However, with lesbian women, they seem to be very relaxed, calm, cool, and collected, and they don't have this negative energy regarding women. They just kind of enjoy the flow. They just enjoy people in general, and they don't. Men usually share that they don't have as much anxiety when they interact with lesbian women because they have more anxiety interacting with heterosexual women because they feel like they have to be careful about what they say because they don't want to offend their girlfriends or their wives or just heterosexual women. And they sometimes don't always feel like they can express themselves honestly. Now, you can be honest with a person and you can be gentle at the same time. There's there are some men who speak honestly but harshly, and you have to be careful how your tone of voice, and you also want to be mindful of the environment that you're in, the surroundings that you're in, where you're carrying the conversation with the woman. So those things have to be considered. So in this, for the purpose of this video, we're just going to say that this heterosexual man is a gentleman and he's interacting with his girlfriend or his wife, and he notices these differences between heterosexual women and lesbian women, and he's curious about why is there such a difference between women and men. They really enjoy the company of women, and when they feel like they cannot have their freedom of being around another woman without being in the doghouse. For example, maybe his girlfriend saw him speaking to a young lady after church. They were in the parking lot, and really this discussion was about having Bible study and what the lesson will be covering. But his girlfriend may be looking on the outside, and she does not like that he is interacting with this woman, because she automatically looks at it like, okay, he is going to cheat on me or he's cheating on me. And men often say that they do not like all of the tension. But when they're around lesbians, they don't have that tension. They don't have to worry about a lesbian woman accusing him of cheating on her because, obviously she's a lesbian, so they're not involved, and he can just speak to as many women as he wants to and not have to deal with the arguing and trying to prove that he is being faithful in his relationship. And you might say, well, if a heterosexual man has a girlfriend or a wife, then he does not need to communicate at all with any other women. And that is an interesting thought, because now you're dealing with relationship dynamics. And I do believe you have to have boundaries, whether you're heterosexual or you're homosexual, regarding your interactions with women if you are a man, and vice versa if you are a woman and you're interacting with a man if you're heterosexual. And so men do enjoy being around lesbians also because they think it's the best of both worlds. And I've been told that they like the fact that you're a woman, um, you're down to earth, and you can laugh together and just have a good time. And there's no negative energy. It's basically having the opportunity to have a platonic relationship with the opposite sex. And men often feel that that's rare. They don't really get to experience having a platonic relationship with women. And the reason why is we honestly live in a very sexually driven society. Like everything that you see and hear is kind of an influence on how you think you should handle yourself regarding interacting with the opposite sex. And there's a lot of pressure for men to always chase women, or for men to uh, have women chase them. So it's always leading to this sexual energy that has to be going on. And men are not always fixated on having women in their bed all the time. And there comes a point where you learn about another person, and it's beyond a sexual fantasy. You just honestly want a real relationship, a real friendship. You want someone who is trustworthy, and you want someone who is reliable. And being a man, sometimes they just enjoy a woman's presence. And if he's single and he wants to be around a woman, he doesn't necessarily want to be on a date. He just wants a female friend. And he can have that in a lesbian relationship. Now, if he is not single, if he's dating a heterosexual woman, or if he's married to a heterosexual woman, there's going to be either no other relationships that he will be able to have with women, or he will only have interactions with women that his girlfriend and his wife know the relationship dynamic. And usually the girlfriend or the wife are around. For example, in a church setting, maybe he is in a position where he interacts with women in the church. We know that there's a lot of women in the church. And so because women are around, and he's a man that's probably in some type of leadership position, his girlfriend or his wife is usually present and knows what the purpose of the engagement or interaction is that he is having with another woman that's not his girlfriend or wife. Now, if a man is with a woman, whether he's dating her or married to her, what if he has a lesbian friend? In most cases, a man will let his girlfriend or his wife know that I have a lesbian friend. If he does not let her know, that's what causes the problem, the issue. And so, understanding from a male perspective, what men have informed me is that they're afraid to tell their girlfriend or their wife that they have a lesbian friend, because their girlfriend or wife has shown an attitude or behavior that they do not approve of him being around women at all. And because he has hidden his relationship, which is a friendship, a platonic friendship with a lesbian woman, and if his girlfriend or wife finds out, then of course that is going to be an issue because he wasn't open and honest with his girlfriend and wife up front. If the man is open and honest with his girlfriend or wife up front about him having a friendship with a lesbian, and she still does not agree with it, in most cases, the heterosexual woman doesn't agree with it because she probably doesn't trust her man. From a lesbian perspective, every man that I've spoken to, who I've interacted with, they were either dating or married pretty much 90% of the time. And that's what I mean by most men are involved with a woman. And because I understand that he's in a relationship, I don't expect for me and that heterosexual man to be hanging out because I believe in boundaries. And if there's ever an issue that he has with me keeping my distance from him, he would understand that because you are in a relationship with a woman, that is changing our friendship. Because out of respect of your relationship, I am going to keep my distance, not because I am sexually or romantically interested in him, but because it just does not look good. Some things you just have to, by appearance respect, you have to uphold the appearance of your relationship, the image and the reputation of your relationship, because people on the outside looking in, they can say that doesn't look good. And that's because that's a married man, for example, being around another woman that's not his wife. Most people don't know what really is going on. And from a lesbian perspective, if the heterosexual man, if I sense that he is interested in being with me more than just on a friendship level, like if it's sexual, then it's not going to last anyway. The friendship won't last anyway because he's going to be um, always in pursuit of me. So there's no reason to pretend like, oh, he's going to stop flirting with me. Oh, he's going to stop trying to, get me to be his girlfriend. You have to be very honest with yourself first. And you have to be, of course, honest with that person and that's boundaries. That's what you do in boundaries. But I have been told by heterosexual men that that is the reason why they enjoy being around me is because of my honesty and respect for relationships, and they just have an opportunity to just get a woman's perspective on everyday life, just having someone that they can just really talk to and be real with and not worry about offending you and not worry about you blaming them or accusing them of cheating on you or not being there for them. It's just a real friendship, and they enjoy being around lesbians for the companionship, just real companionship. Now, I have been told this by heterosexual men as well. Many of them say that they really would prefer that the women that they date or marry would be interested in women sexually and romantically. And this is just being honest. Like, men will say, I really do wish that what my woman was more open minded to being attracted to women, because it seems it seems like women who are attracted to women are more relaxed and easygoing, and they're not as critical or strict. This is just, again, men who have shared their perspectives to me. And they're just telling me their experience of women and the difference between heterosexual women and lesbian women. They explain that there's more, that heterosexual women can be more strict with them, and they just they have experienced dating women who have been bisexual or even lesbians, because there are some lesbians who have been involved with men on a in a sexual relationship, and the men have explained that they're more understanding, they're not jealous, they're not controlling, and they've enjoyed the relationship on other levels when they're involved with bisexual or lesbian women. But when they're with heterosexual women, there's more tension and cattiness when it comes to their girlfriends or their wives interacting with other women. And men will share that, I wish that my girlfriend or my wife was more pleasant around other women, but he always feels like he has to be on walking on eggshells almost. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard how men say that they will not look at other women or they'll walk the other way when they're with their girlfriend or wife. And they say a lot of times they do that because they don't want to have an argument with their wife or girlfriend, falsely accusing them of looking at another woman. But when they were dating like bisexual or lesbian women, they never felt that agitation, that drama. They never had that with them. And I can understand that that is a huge difference. And I can see how that could be an issue for men, being involved with heterosexual women, and how they have more of a relaxed experience with bisexual or lesbian women. And that's just the way they've experienced their encounters with women. And I appreciate them sharing their experiences with me. I think it's important that men and women are able to communicate with each other, and we have to keep outside forces from controlling our personal relationships, because your relationship, whether you're heterosexual or homosexual, if it's a man and a woman involved, you have to be mature in order for your relationship to develop and prosper. And you have to be involved in your relationship, and you have to cultivate your relationship the way you desire it to be. And if you do not, then things can go south. And I believe that men should be able to have relationships with women. It's just that you have to understand the type of relationship that it is. And everybody has to be on the same page in order for it to work. But I appreciate men. I believe that having friendships with men is important. Men are very vital in my life. They are not necessarily men who are only interested in me sexually, they're not the only kind of men that I have interacted with. I've seen very responsible, caring, kind gentlemen. And I believe that they should get more recognition. And this is why I also did this video, because not all men are just focused on bedding women. And there's more to men than just them trying to chase women or have women chase them. And I appreciate the conversations I've had. I've appreciated the relationships platonically that I've shared with men. And they've expressed their appreciation for me and why men enjoy being around lesbians. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. Like and share my content and come back for more. Have a great day.